Okay, so I'm going to be done for the day. Didn't take any trades today, saw plenty of opportunities. Just for the most part, setups just weren't that clear, or they were going right into some kind of resistance or support. Tons of hidden buyer seller plays, just none of them really came through. So really, it was a very actionable day, but it just wasn't quite there in terms of, what exactly it was that I wanted to take. So ended up skipping a bunch of stuff that could have been winners, skipping stuff that could have been losers. I don't know, just kind of one of those days where it was it was an A grade setup, but just they ended up being not good enough. I mean, I would have expected today to be a really good day, seeing a lot of stuff, and I did. It's just nothing really happened. So I don't know, I'm not upset about it. Kind of indifferent towards it, really. It's just kind of the way it is. So I just want to do a weekly recap here. Made money this week. Sorry. Made money the week. Spent a little high on commissions. No big deal. 5 for 8 on the trades. 8,000 shares traded. 2 winning days. 56 in commissions. Big thing this week though was the P&L with non-compliance. We'll definitely get into that more as we go over the losers, but pretty much every one of my losers, maybe not so much this one, but these two definitely could have been prevented. And also, not to mention, there were countless trades this week where I just missed really good opportunities, missing a bunch of really good winners. And I mean, I don't really keep track of the trades that I miss, but I know that they were definitely there. So let's just go right to it and start watching some recaps. I already just went over this KSS trade, so it's pretty interesting. It's kind of weird. Ended up, I mean, it's a really nice formation here. Pulled back to the 9, came back down, hidden buyer here at this 76. And I'm trying to get in an order in right underneath. I mean, there's no circuit breaker or anything, so you would kind of expect it to be somewhat simple. But I ended up getting kind of clipped in, and price never really, you can never see. I mean, the bid never changed. It was stuck at that 76 the entire time. So now I'm in. You can see it's all these 76, 7601, and then all of a sudden there's this 75, 97, 97, 95, 95, 96, and that's it. So I mean, somewhere in here is me, and just me, really. Like, there's nobody else. I mean, I really don't see what happened in this trade that got me in. I mean, I ended up taking a loss on it. I don't know, I was risking about 20-25 cents on it. I thought there might be a good breakdown, and eventually there was, but I had to take the loss on it because, you just don't know if there's going to be a big squeeze here, and if it never ends up breaking that guy, I'm definitely not trying to hold on to that trade for that long. So ultimately what I should have been doing is looking to get like right here, right there. It's perfect time to get out. Get out and re-put the order back in, take a super small loss. But I give it that chance to pop back up, and then I exit as, more is going against me. Had to take the loss on it. Could have been a little more preventable. It's like Toll was another one where I was looking to do something. Buying over the high here. Fails to break down underneath. And then we get the big move there. I don't know. It looks like I tried to get that one too. Yeah, I noticed the hidden buyer there. Skipped right over me. But this one was probably the only one where it was acceptable to not get into that trade. Because it immediately jumps, 15 cents. My limit was only 3 cents out, so that one was that's just not going to happen. That's just the way that one goes. So then we got calls again. So now I'm looking at it at 77. Another hidden seller up there. I actually missed this. Hold on a second. Alright, so a good setup coming out of this triangle. Trying to make it move higher. Spy is very green. Ends up blowing right through it. I get filled at 04, which is a great fill on this. I'm only looking for a scalp. VLC, dude. I didn't even see the trade because VLC is not loading. Pops up, bid's not moving up that much. Gets up to 8. 7, we're starting to get a little stuck here. 10, 12, 11. And then I ended up selling at 06. So I was a little slow on taking profits. I mean, at this point it's telling me clear that 10 is the last price that's holding, so if this wants to break, then I need to get out because of how slow it's moving. Get 12 back to 10. I clicked the button at 10, it looked like, as it got back there, but just slippage kind of get me out at 6, I guess. I should be happy that I even got in, and I should be happy that I got out at that 6, because, I mean, they could have easily been just as bad either way, really. So, I mean, those are two scalps that just really didn't play out that well, I guess. I don't know. This one, that's fine loss. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Alright, so then we got the big trading day here, where first trade was target on the gap and go. Feels very good to finally have a gap and go winner after the past 2.5 weeks of getting skipped over the gap and go trades. So I mean, it sets up perfectly. Nice pre-market trend, kind of comes back a little bit. Makes a nice little doji. Can't really tell because of Lightspeed's little glitch there, but I promise it's a really good looking doji. So I get my order ready, right over the top. Just the way that it sets up, I can definitely get big size. You know, there's a decent size spread, but the risk reward is still there. So I'm taking 1,000 shares. Risking almost 50 cents. Is that right? Risking 33 cents, so I probably could have even gotten bigger than 1,000. Probably could have taken, I mean, if I really wanted to push it, 1,500 is probably the limit. But I got my 1-to-1 on it. The problem is my my limit on the trade being at 40. You know, I kind of give up $40 worth, or no, I give up $100 worth if I get filled at my limit. So that's just something that I kind of got to keep in mind. But looking to get 30 cents out of it. Popped up to 30, kind of come back. So then we get a nice little break. All that green is definitely something that you always want to see. It doesn't quite explode or take off, but it definitely hasn't come back against me. So as long as we're holding higher and pushing higher, keep seeing that dark green on the tape, then I definitely know that it's a trade I want to hold on to. Get up to 60, so right now I should be looking to take any partials. Gets up to 70, should definitely be taking a partial. Almost to 80, should definitely be taking a partial. So at this point, the stock is almost 20 cents past my profit target. And what I do is I take half. I don't know, because it's been so long since I've actually been in a gap and go trade that I keep forgetting that since it's because it's a scalp, I need to be taking most off instead of half off. So we're still in the mid 80s now. And then we get to that 77, click the button. That's a good take, but it just should have been more. Because what ends up happening is after, you know, it starts tipping off of that end, well then everybody else is starting to sell too. And then we get down to the 50s, and then I have to cover half my position, you know, giving up an extra 15 cents on the trade. So I mean, it's almost an extra $100 that I could have saved. I mean, it could have been a $400 winner instead of a $300 winner. So that even more so adds to the non-compliance part. So I mean, technically it could be even $450 now. Alright, so then we got Baba. No, not Baba. Not yet. So we got low on the opening range play. I've already watched this one 5 different times, but might as well watch it one more time. This was the big one that contributed to the non-compliance. So Low's setting up, I mean, it just looks so good. I mean, the only thing that isn't the best is the wicks, but I mean, if you want to take it over the bodies of the candles, definitely fine too. Either way, it's a super good setup. I know that I definitely want to be trading it. So I'm taking 500 shares on it, risking about 250 bucks. Stop loss is a little bit below the VWAP. That's not true. Stop loss is below the whole number. So we get up there. I'm in as we break high a day. Pops up a little bit. Trying to see it at 107 before I take anything off. Oh, that gets so slow. So at this point, I'm a little iffy on it because I'm still in my scalping mindset. And I know that the opening range plays, I have to be comfortable with a retest where my stop loss is, because that's just part of the way that opening range plays trade. I mean, I've seen it time and time again with any of them that I've been taking, that I'm not going to say more often than not, but in some cases, it absolutely comes back a little bit against you and then continues to go higher. I mean, the first retest is the most important retest. And I mean, if the first retest doesn't hold, then, you know, you want to be out of the trade. But if the first retest does hold, then there's no reason to get out. You need to still hold on. So it's not moving as fast as I like. It's not really exploding. It kind of stalls here a little bit, and we're getting stuck. So at this point, I start getting nervous. And at this point, when it starts going against me, I'm already starting to think, okay, you know, protect my wins, protect my gains that I already got on the day. No reason to hold out for forever and let this thing run super far against me. Boom, all of a sudden we are down 40 cents within a tick, and I'm just, I don't know, I panic, click the button, and I'm all out, just like that. And then we see a bounce. And it comes back, right back up towards high day. And then we push and make new high day. And then it gets to my profit target and then some. I mean, right here is where I'd be taking partial right there. I would have taken a partial right there. I mean, that's 250 bucks that I just gave away. I mean, that's a big deal. So the opening range was ORB is not a scalp. I have pretty much already drilled that into my head this week. So PSTG, unusual hidden seller, buyer. There was some non-compliance on this, and that is because, when we get to it, I'll go over it. So, somewhat of a weak open, very strong recovery right through VWAP, big volume, straight up to this 25.90. Bounce off of it, consolidate, come up again, bounce off it again, start to notice that there's something funny going on. So got my order in right at 91. 90. Lots of volume, tape speeding up. Looks like I could be getting ready to break. Alright, so then we break, and I'm in at 93. What am I risking? Risking about 14 cents, so I'm only trying to get 15 cents out of it. So trying to get it up at that 26. So here's the problem with this. First of all, the whole numbers usually, sometimes, act as good support or resistance. You never know until you actually get up there, but it's better to assume that it will instead of it won't, especially if you are scalping and taking a long that is only 10 cents away while you're risking 15 cents. So truly, your risk reward is a little bit less than 1. So there's one mistake, that it's really not the greatest setup, but because of the momentum, the news, I mean, I'd probably still take it the next day as well and try and get at least 10 cents out of it. But that's the thing, is that I need to at least try and get 10 cents out of it, not hold looking for a break of the whole number. So the weird thing about this one is whenever you start watching it, you'll see that as we keep getting a penny higher and higher, it seems like there's a hidden seller at each step of the way. So there's all this green at this 94, and 94 is not breaking. So well, you can't see it because VLC skipped over it. Boom, 94's there, not breaking. Does break, 95's there. Still just that weird 1. Whenever you see that 1, it's just like you know that there's something funny going on. But there's a bunch of action going on at 95, not breaking. Breaks, gets up to 96, big seller there, tons of volume coming in. Tons of green. Still stalling. There's that 1 again, breaks. They get to 97, 92, 98. There's all this green, and then we get up to the whole number. I mean, there's a ton of green. So at this point, I'm thinking, you know, there's so much green on this trade. We're just going to blow right through these guys. It's going to keep going, and then I'll get my profit target at 15 cents. Well, we end up getting this 26. Bounces off it, and then we see that big red there. At this point, what I should have been thinking is, okay, we got to the whole number. There was a bunch of hidden sellers along the way, huge sellers at 26. You know, why do I need to keep holding on to this trade in the hopes that it comes back and reattempts to break 26 and then actually does break 26? Doesn't happen. Ends up popping down all the way down, 15 cents down to 83. I clicked the button and I'm out at 85. Again, just unnecessarily losses. Should have happened. I should have taken a $10 loss on this. Kind of gave back an extra 30 on top of it. Just not really clear thinking, I guess. I don't really know how to, you know, I ignored the resistance above and didn't take profit when I was told to. And I was told multiple times on this trade to be taking profits. I mean, one situation to take profits was the hidden sellers above my entry. The other one was at 26 whenever you saw all the sellers there at the whole number. And the other one was on that slight pullback after we failed and we started seeing a bunch of red on the tape. So I mean, I had three cases against my trade, but I mean, this all happens in, you know, 30 seconds maybe. So I mean, these are all things that I need to be considering in the middle of the trade as reasons for me to get out. That's just the way it is. Just need to get out. So then we got 2 trades on low. One was the SMB VWAP trade with the early entry for a good entry, and then the other entry was on the SMB consolidation. So something that I thought about a few days ago I think, was to start doing something like this. So to double my size at breakout from the SMB trades, get my good entry as it comes to me at good risk level, good risk reward. I mean, you can just tell that obviously my stop loss is underneath this. You got the 20 coming up on it, got the 9 kind of hovering above it, but still in play. Could possibly be a good situation if it does end up getting above this. So I mean, it's a good trade, it's a good setup. looks really good. Strong open, pulled back to VWAP, still good volume. Bounced off of VWAP with good volume, and then we get a small pullback on lower volume. So it looks pretty good. And then, so this is my first tier. This is tier 1 on my good entry. Tier 2 at points, I think there should be a sudden rush of buyers or sellers at the breakout point. So the breakout point is above this little mini consolidation here that we had. This is the point that I think that we should be breaking away from this price to go retest high day. So in this way, by trading like this, if it doesn't break away as fast as I think it should, why would I risk half of my money anyway? So if I get up here and I just enter up here, well, then I'm full size at this position with risk still being as big as it is, where in this scenario, the way that I did trade it, I get a really good entry, super tight risk, huge reward, and if I want to, I mean, I'm adding to a winner. I'm not adding to a loser, not doubling down, averaging down, anything like that. So if it does break, it's extra money, extra cushion for adding in the future if this trade wants to continue to trend higher and higher throughout the day. So got my first entry. Kind of pulls back right to where my risk is, which is fine. Another thing that I was thinking about during this is that I'm definitely happy that I'm still trading at this point, because I had a big winner. I ended up giving pretty much all of it back, but I'm still in here, I'm still trading, still trying to find a winner, trying to end up good green on the day. I'll probably speed through this one, because this one lasts a little bit longer than a minute. So maybe we're holding, which is absolutely what I always want to see. Got my 200 shares at 80, pops down to 60 again, gets down to 59, fails again, which is definitely what I want to see. So at this point, I know that I got a good entry. I know that things are in my favor. SPY is a little red, that's fine. So now I'm just waiting, really. Waiting to see what happens. My risk is there. It failed to move any lower. The 20's underneath of it. It definitely looks like a really good setup. So then we get up there, put my order in, trying to get 200 more, literally double size. And it's not exactly a scalp. It is kind of a buy and hold situation, if it ends up being a buy and hold situation. If not, then I definitely do want to take profits where I can. I mean, if this thing did actually explode and break away, I would be taking it off immediately, and I would look to re-add as it pulls back in, and plus I got my core position here, profitable for the entire time. So we end up getting up to this 25, but something funny goes on. I get filled to 24, but we're not breaking this 25. There might have been a hidden seller or something there, couldn't quite tell. Either way, I know I got a pretty good trade going, so I do want to hold on to my my add-in that I got. And it only pulls back, so my risk on the second add was 25 cents. So it was the whole number. So I mean, I got the whole number. I got both the moving averages. Got a little pop here. Volume's okay. It's a little higher than these two. So I mean, the risk on this one is another 25 cents. So it's about, it's another 50 bucks. So all in all, I'm risking $100, but at the same time it's split up between two different entries, so my average is better, it's higher. So I mean, everything in this trade is in my favor. We get down there, I mean, it gets pretty close to breaking the whole number. If it did break underneath 107, then I would get out half, just take the loss on the second, but I would still have this, and if I wanted to add in later, I could. So we end up breaking out, making a move, looking pretty good. But it wasn't quite enough for me to want to take anything off yet. Goes back to 25, my entry that we're holding. Also, watching the SPY here is another thing to pay attention to because it definitely came into play. So we end up popping up again here, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, we got the trade that I want. It's making a nice little move. It's not making a move as fast as I want it to, so I want to take profits if we can make a new high here. So we end up making a new high. Thanks, VLC. Appreciate it. End up making a new high, popping up, waiting for a little pullback, and I was a little slow because we ended up getting up into that 60, and then it came down 10 cents immediately, so I ended up giving back a little bit too much there, but either way, got to my profit target, and I was looking to take it when I could. And as for my core, now it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what happens. You see the SPY already dropped 10 cents. But, I mean, this thing could keep trending higher. You know, it could pull in again, you know, make a little bounce here, and I can look to add back in on it. But at this point, the SPY's down 30 cents now almost. So now I'm thinking, you know, if we end up closing below these moving averages, it might just be a best case scenario to just get out and look to possibly get in later. So I wait for a close on the candle though. I didn't want to just get out too early because I'm able to hold out a little longer here because I got such a good entry. You know, if I just put my entry right here, full size right here, I guaranteed I would have been a loser on this trade because I wouldn't be wanting to take profits right here because my risk would have been almost $1. I would have been trying to take profits at high a day. But because I got that good entry, I'm able to really let the trade work for me without having to worry so much about losing any money on it. So then I ended up getting all out. I mean, the SPY dropped. We're not taking off. We ended up moving below the moving averages, so I just said forget it, I'm all out. It ended up bouncing around a little bit and then continuing higher, but couldn't really get a good situation in here. So it bounced off of VWAP, made a push higher again, bounced off of VWAP again, but it broke underneath this as well. So I don't know, it was a little bit too much chop for me. I mean, we made a new high but failed, we made a new low but failed, and then it took off. So I mean, at this point right here, volume's not really extreme there, but I mean, it probably wouldn't have been enough for me to want to get a good entry there. I probably would have wanted to see it lower, but either way, it just, I don't know, just something doesn't sit right with me about this one. It would have been much better if it was tighter, but instead we broke and failed both ways, so it kind of took it away from me that I didn't really want to be involved with it. So then last trade of the week was on Baba. Baba was an unusual hidden buyer seller scalp. Only made 17 bucks on it, so nothing super special. That'll be pretty good looking setup, just didn't like those wicks. And it failed, came back to VWAP, so at that point it could have been a pretty good entry right here. Baba ends up having a weak open, consolidating for a ton, and then we squeeze above VWAP. Very strong 1 minute candle. We get it to 185, where you can tell, I remember watching this level throughout the morning and wanting to see it break for a gap and go setup, but we ended up never getting up there. So at this point, already looking at it, it looks like we tapped it once. Getting back up, see it, and I get filled 400 shares at the 12, so at the worst possible spot on my limit. It doesn't really move. The tape is going so fast that I really can't get a read on anything. I mean, it's just a giant mix of both dark green and dark red, so it's just it was kind of iffy on what I really wanted to do here. We ended up moving a little higher, getting up to 36, and I just take profits when I can because it's moving so fast that I can't clearly tell if buyers or sellers are winning. I mean, we're not I mean, as fast as it's moving, we're not really taking off, so you can kind of tell that it's kind of an even match almost. So I was just thinking, I got what I need, regardless of where I got filled. My profit target was at about 30. I mean, the thing ended up taking off and going higher like all day, but I was taking it on a scalp. I wasn't taking it on a SMB trade or anything. Definitely kept grinding higher. I mean, I could have just taken half, but that's just, I don't know, that wasn't where my mindset was at the time. So ended up being just a small winner. So really, I mean, it wasn't a terrible week. It really wasn't that good of a week either. I mean, at least I'm coming out positive, making some of this back on the month. I mean, this whole month really has just been a C+ month. I mean, it's just not great. I guess I'm getting back into the swing of things. I mean, I took borderline 5 weeks off, just really kind of trying to come back into it, making sure. And I mean, now I'm making sure that I'm only taking the A+ setups. It's just the potential of this month was massive, and I mean, I see it. I see the winners. I see them after I miss the trade that they're still winners. I mean, there's just, the problems lie in the execution. It's just about pulling the trigger, getting the right entry, actually getting filled in on the trade, and I mean, who knows what else. I mean, that's why we do these reviews. So, looks like the mistakes I got. If you are clipped in buy and sell or trade, exit as close as you can to your entry and re-enter. ORB is not a scalp. I have to be okay with holding for a retest on the opening range plays. In another trade, I ignored the resistance above and did not take profit when I was told to. That PSTG trade were definitely clear opportunities to take that trade, be it a small loss or a small winner. Ended up being almost a full-size loss, about 2/3 of the way to my full risk. So I mean, there's plenty of situations where I could have made more, could have lost less. Another thing I wanted to do for this video is I wanted to kind of talk about my mistakes from last week and my goals and what did I do to really fix it. So mistakes from last week: up 1R on stop loss. I definitely did this one. The Lowe's trade that I took, I was up 1R, ended up taking a profit, and then as it got close to being back to my break even on my first entry, I took the rest off for a small win on that one. So this one was good. That one I definitely improved upon. Nothing wrong with taking a super small hit and getting back in on better confirmation. There are times that it is a better trade. So there was that Kohl's scalp that I got in on that ended up clipping me in and popping back. I had a chance to get out, only 4 cents against me, and re-put that entry back in, but I didn't. I ended up holding on to it, and I mean, it cost me. There's not a reason that I shouldn't have gotten out, that I should not have gotten out. Keeping my loss as small as possible. I walked away from IQ and failed to recognize that it was setting up for a great long squeeze after failing, and many people got caught short. There were definitely some opportunities for that. Even today, I guess, on this ADSK, you can kind of see that it gets below VWAP. It's not exactly what I was talking about with the IQ, but it had its chances there. There just wasn't, even if something does set up for something like this, that doesn't mean that it's always going to be a good trade afterwards. I have to get a good entry. I got to get good risk reward set up. So even if it does happen, doesn't always mean that I need to be taking it to the opposite direction. But it is definitely good that I'm noticing these more. There are definitely more possibilities in the future to be taking trades like these. So I definitely improved on that one as well. Too much focus on what I want to see in the setup and not actually trading the way it is. I was much better this week. This week I was able to read things much better. Some things were more clear, some things weren't. But the things that weren't clear, I avoided. The things that were clear, I tried to get in. I mean, it happened on the Lowe's trade here. But there were plenty of other opportunities where I could have done better. So this was kind of a halfer. It's just kind of recognizing at the moment, what it is that I want to see and what actually is happening. And if those both match up, then, that's something that I would strongly want to consider getting in on. So what did I do worse? Taking B grade setups? Nope, not this week. What specifically? Pay more attention to pre-market charting. Definitely did that. More attention to 15s. Absolutely did that. Did continue my best. Didn't trade half of what I did, and still too much trading. The last week the goal was to just take A plus setups and read the price action better, and I definitely did that. A plus only, yeah. I definitely improved from last week for sure. Nothing wrong taking a super small hit. Winners, A plus only, yeah. So I mean, I definitely improved from last week. So this week was better than last week. Goals were better. I'm reading things better. I'm seeing things better. I may not be taking them, but I am seeing them, and I'm really only trying to get the best of the best. So there was a TLRY trade that actually happened earlier today, because all the pot stocks again grinding straight up. CGC here from about 9:45, just a straight move, straight shot up. So I was wondering why TLRY wasn't doing the exact same thing. I mean, you can see it's chopping around in here. So I tried to get an entry in over here. It was at the price that I was trying to get in. My limit order was. It just didn't get filled, and then the next candle took off. It would have been a really big winner. You can see it down there. I tried to get it at 41.20. Just didn't get it. I mean, I would have taken profits right there. Actually, I don't know if I would have taken profits there. What I might have done is actually added on this break here because of everything else that was going on. Because with everything that was going on, SPY being majorly green, CGC being majorly green, you know, I very well might have added in on this. I probably would have taken some off on this move, on this candle at least, and then maybe gotten all out the rest right here. Either way, you know, it's set up again for another entry here. It just never really pulled back enough. I mean, we just kind of took off and then made a failed push on high day, pulled back again. I mean, again, this is just, it's not clean. It's not super clear. Volume's not that great. So I mean, this was really it. Like, this was the only opportunity that I really saw to get involved in this trade. And after that, it just became, you know, just too much chop, really. So finishing the week plus 170, probably a little less from commissions, 112. Feels good to have a green week. Obviously, still more to work on. I think as I type this up, I'm gonna come up with new goals to work on for next week. I think the big one is just going to be execution, you know, getting involved in trades that I think are going to be winners, and watching them go without me is an issue. So maybe I should experiment with the feeler trades, where these other traders talking about they just throw out feelers there. You know, they trade super small size just to get a feel for the stock. You know, because obviously whenever you're in it, you're watching it better, you're focused on it more. Whereas if you're not in it yet, you know, it's just like a light switch. When you're either in it or you're not. And the second that you are in it, you know, then everything changes. Whereas if you get a feeler, you are in it, but it's such small size, small risk, that it really just doesn't matter too much. So maybe that'll be something to experiment with next week, because I've been seeing these plays kind of unfold before me, and they, more often than not, they end up working out. I don't know, it's just a matter of how clean it is, you know, what I really want to do with it. So I'll have to come up with something, type it out. But thanks for watching. I will be back on Monday.